Happy Monday and welcome to your Mental Health Mini. Today we have a solo episode with yours truly and we are talking optimism. Being optimistic, you're almost tricking your brain into believing you have more control, you have more autonomy, you have more of an ability to change your life. In fact, non-depressed individuals tend to overestimate the control they have on their lives, whereas depressed individuals tend to accurately estimate their control. This is a delusion working to your benefit. We've all seen on TikTok, like, oh, in my Delulu era, like, what makes you believe that? Delusion. Being really optimistic allows you to feel like you have more control and feel like you have more hope. And so many people with depression and anxiety feel like they don't have control. They don't have control over their moods. They don't have control over their thoughts. They don't have control over their behaviors. It's almost like their mind is running wild and their emotions are running wild without their consent. And that lack of control is incredibly distressing and incredibly overwhelming. And I think understanding how a mindset of optimism, even if you like artificially introduce and you're like, I'm going to be optimistic from now on, can help counteract that and kind of be an antidote to those really distressing feelings of being out of control. There's also something that happens in the mind of the pessimist and in people that have negative moods and people that struggle with their mental health, which is that when bad things happen, you think it's a shortcoming of you. You think it's your fault. If you do bad on a test, it's because you're a bad student. It's because you're stupid. It's because you are not good enough. The healthy way to interpret that and the optimistic way to interpret that is that you say, I wasn't accurately prepared. I could have studied more. I wasn't prepared for those questions on the test. I didn't understand the material. And you can kind of understand the difference of like, I did something versus I am. And if you're struggling with your self-esteem and you are experiencing a lot of shame, you are probably also doing that. You are attributing these things to yourself and your character and you as a person, rather the environment or behaviors you have chosen to make. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, they're not you. They are things you experience. And having that separation and having that cognitive dissonance from your emotions and your mind can be really helpful, especially with depression. And I think that is something to be really aware of, and that enforcing yourself into those self-serving biases and rewiring those thought patterns, I am, to I did this, is incredibly powerful for your self-esteem and your mental health. So we talked about optimism. It has a lot of benefits. It makes us feel like we're more in control. It helps us with the self-serving bias. It helps us have better moods. But how do we become optimistic? One way that you can start that process and start reframing your thought process is beginning to perceive the world as fundamentally good. And I've noticed that since I've been in recovery and left treatment and continue to maintain my mental health, I've noticed a mindset shift to really having the belief of what's meant to happen will happen and things work out for the best, and kind of like lucky girl syndrome. I really do believe that things will work out for the best. If they don't work out the way you want them to, it's because it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to happen, and that you are moving in the right direction. You are on your journey and things are happening for a reason, and that people are inherently kind and compassionate and that the world is a good place. I think having that mindset is not easy. It's to be really pessimistic. What causes people to be optimistic? It's when they're in situations that they believe to be positive and that they have a natural tendency to heal and flourish and improve. And so if you are approaching your mental health as a situation where you are going to heal, you are going to feel better, you are going to improve in your ability to regulate your emotions and cope with things and have healthy relationships, you become more optimistic. So how can we perceive our environments as positive and as a container for us to heal, flourish, and improve? It requires two things. It requires believing that you are capable of changing your life and perceiving your life as variable. You not only have to have the skill set and have the confidence in yourself that that skill set exists, and that happens when you continuously build that muscle of changing your life, but also truly and genuinely believing that the world and the environment you're living in is improvable, and believing that it has the potential to change in a positive way. If you believe the world is completely fixed and that no matter what you do, nothing will change, you're not able to move forward and you don't have that belief that you can change your life. And similarly, when you believe the world is improvable and has the capacity for positive change, but you don't see yourself as having the skills to do so, you're at an impasse. When you have the self-efficacy and the confidence in your skill set and you perceive the world as improvable and with potential for positive change, that is when you can make changes and improve your life. If you enjoyed this week's Mental Health Mini, you can listen to the full episode. It's number 162 with yours truly. A link to the full episode is in the show notes. As always, make sure to leave a review, subscribe, share with a friend or family member, and follow along at She Persisted podcast. Thanks for listening.